There we go. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lory. I work at the Digital Arts Experience as the creative director. This is my pet bird, Maple. He's going to be hanging out with us today. We are going to be doing a project in Photoshop. Hold on, I'm just setting up my microphone. Alright, we should be good to go. Hang on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Alright, cool. So, we're going to be using Photoshop, and we're going to be... I was thinking of doing another kind of project where I put a different animal someplace where it shouldn't be. Last time I did a giraffe on the moon. This time, I am thinking about a dinosaur. So we're here on unsplash.com. Unsplash has a variety of free usable images. Creators basically upload their photos, I guess just as with their own generosity, so we can use them. So we have some pictures of dinosaurs here. Now what I want to do is find an image that I can easily remove the background. So let's see if we can find one. I think the one up at the top was really good. What of these are like toys? T-Rex. So I liked this one a lot. See, I already favorited it. It's kind of like around this tree though, so I'm not really sure if I like that. Let's see what's that dinosaur called? Is it a Brontosaurus? Yeah. Let's look up Brontosaurus. Oh, there's no images for Brontosaurus. Oh, that's dinosaur. That one's probably fine. Let's just go with this one. So we like this one. Gonna download it. Next, we need to put him somewhere. So I think something funny like a beach would be cool. And I want to grab this image and look at it. So I can kind of think about where I'm putting him. And make sure that his like feet are kind of like situated where he needs to be. So let's see. This one's pretty good. Actually, that one would be really good. Kind of like imagine him right here. Actually, that would work really well. I didn't even see this one before. Do we want to go a little bit more tropical? Something like this one. Let's see. I also hope you guys can hear me okay, like the music is not too loud. Just in case, I'll turn it down just a little bit more. I kind of like this one. You know what? Let's go with the one that we saw before, because I really like it. So, I'm gonna download. There we go. Show in Finder. Here it is. I'll put it in Photoshop. Cool. So to make this easier, I'm gonna call this background. I want to make it black and white. Desaturation. We'll desaturate it. I'm gonna make it a little bit brighter. So now we are going to pop our dinosaur in. Ooh, that's gonna look so cool. Okay, and now I want to also make him black and white. Gonna rasterize a smart object, no problem. Desaturation, desaturate him. And I want to make him a little bit darker because some of the blacks aren't showing up that well. Liner there. And this will help us remove the background too, because as you can see, the sky is kind of, some of these grays are going away, so that'll make capturing the background and removing it a lot easier. So I'm gonna, I don't want to mess with the different layers, so I'm just gonna merge all three of these. So this is our dinosaur, T-Rex, and then I'm also going to merge these. I'm gonna hide the background layer, and I want to make a background layer behind my T-Rex with a color that I can see that's kind of different from, you know, a color that's not black or white, obviously. So what I'm gonna do first is just select a lot of these bigger areas, kind of make them a little bit smaller like that. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of different ways that you can remove the background. So what I like to do if I have a lot of white space like this is I go for the, what is this, magic wand tool, increase the tolerance a little bit so it grabs more of those whites, but it's kind of cutting into his back leg here, so I'm going to reduce the tolerance now. Yeah, down a little bit. Let's see. That's a little bit better, so let's just see what that looks like. Okay, that's not bad. It did take off a little bit, but it won't really matter, because we'll like blend them in and stuff. So now we're zoomed in pretty far because I want to make sure I get all his details. So I'm just going around, getting rid of some stuff. It's capturing some of this white on his head here, so I don't want that. I might just go in with my handy dandy eraser and do this, because this is what I often do to get rid of the background. Now if you're working on a project where, like, I don't know, you're taking a portrait of someone and you're gonna change the background, pro tip is to take the photo on a with a white background, or as little distraction in the background as possible, because then you can just select the whole background color and it makes it so much easier. Oop. And you can see you can kind of get carried away here, but I'm just gonna get rid of some of these parts right here, get rid of this. I wonder if you guys can hear me okay. Let me know. Getting rid of some of these. We're gonna go back with our magic wand. We'll go here. Get rid of these little branches that go around. Oop. Cool. So we're getting somewhere. Okay. So here you can see that all this gray kind of like blends in with his foot. So using the magic wand tool won't be the smart idea. The other thing you can do is take the polygonal lasso tool and kind of poke around, outline his foot, like so. Go back around, go back to where the meeting point was, and delete like that. That's okay too. It's not my preference, but it does work. So a lot of people, a lot of designers, photo editors use that as their method of getting the subject out of the background. So I'm just gonna imagine what his like foot kind of looks like. And again, this is just the way I do it. Oh, think of what I want to do with this tree. His tail is kind of around it. I'm wondering, what should I do about that? For now, let's just ignore it. We could probably take some part of his, another part of his body and kind of mask over that. Maybe we'll try that in a bit. Maybe that'll be one of the last things we do. So, get back to our eraser tool. Hi! He likes to cuddle up with my hair. This one. Now here, increase our tolerance. Okay, give me some of that. Rid of this. Eraser. Going up to this foot. This one's a little bit more muddled, like you can't really see his foot. It's kind of being covered by plants. We'll see if we can figure out a solution to that later. Now let's just worry about getting most of the background gone. La la. I'm also trying to go as quick as possible here, just so I'm not boring anyone. So it may not be as perfect as I want it to be, but oh, it's recognizing all of that. That's good. Let's do that. Actually, oh, that was a mistake because I didn't see what I was doing. That's better. Let's just remove some of these, remove that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Oh. So that's the other thing, if you right click, you'll get kind of the pop out that's over here, right wherever you clicked. So that's really helpful if you're like, oh, I need this brush, and then you kind of, oh, that's a pass down. You're like, oh, I need this one. What's happening? Yeah, if you're like, oh, I need that brush, you can really easily switch to it. Where's the brush that I had before? Oh, right, I need the eraser tool. Alright, we'll work with the edges later. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to shape this into what his tail would kind of be, and then we'll kind of overlay a texture of his skin like right on top. We could probably use this part of his leg and just kind of lay it right over there. Cool, so there's our dinosaur. He kind of has a missing leg, but we might be able to finagle something with that. So, I'm gonna remove that. Our colored background. Cool. Make our background visible. And it might be kind of cool maybe like put him kind of like coming out here. That maybe. His foot's kind of messed up. We could take that foot and just duplicate it, but I don't know how that would work. Also, you know what? The light source is different. So we're gonna flip him because the light is coming from over here, as you can see the shadow, and the light source is hitting this dinosaur here. So we have to flip him horizontal, and we'll put him here in the shade. Yeah, actually, no, that looks a little bit better. And then I'm just gonna kind of like something like that. And we'll work on making him blend in a little bit more. Yeah, so let's work on this tail thing because it's kind of bugging me. So we're gonna use the clone stamp tool. So first what I wanna do is I'm going to, hold on a second. I needed to use the bathroom. It is not. So we're gonna click this like square with checkers on it. It's called Lock Transparent Pixels. So basically, because he is transparent, like he has no background, we're gonna click on that so that when we draw on him, we're only drawing within what's visible. See? So if I didn't have that checked, we would be drawing on this layer but outside of these pixels. Because remember we removed the background, so the only pixels on this layer are the T-Rex. So let's undo both of these things, keep that on, and we're gonna use the clone stamp tool. So I'm gonna select this kind of dark part of his leg here, and using the Alt Option key on your keyboard, that's where you want to kind of define where your source point is. And I'm going to bring my cursor back over here to the tail, and I'm gonna paint over. But as you can see, nothing is happening now because that little crosshair section is now, the source point is now the transparent part, so there's nothing being painted. So I need to go back and define that source point and go back and paint. And you kind of just go back and forth a little bit. Let's kind of take this one a little bit dark under here. It kind of looks a little bit better. Okay. Alright, that's a little bit better. So let's go back to our history and see what we did. So before all the clone stamps, that's what it looked like, and now that's what it looks like. So that's pretty good. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of, you know what, maybe I will try to Photoshop his second foot on there. It might not look great, but we can try it. So I want to use the clone stamp tool again to kind of get rid of these little leaves that are coming out. Or grass. So, clone stamp. Let's define a source point. Let's do this. Oh, on the wrong there. And you don't really need a big brush either, because you're just kind of getting rid of the thin lines here. And you kind of want to have the same color that's around it, because then it won't be too obvious. Now, if you don't want to do this part, I would find a photo where his feet is more visible, because then you wouldn't have this issue. Here, this one. Let's oh no. Whoops. It's gonna be a little bit easier. I don't think his toe is that thick. Alright. Well, let's do a little bit more. Stay close again. Take the bigger brush and just kind of stamp on like a dark kind of color. Just kind of hide those. Alright, I'm gonna try something and I don't know if it's gonna work. So we're gonna copy this, edit, copy, edit, paste. I want you to fly back to your cage. Okay. So we're gonna take his foot and flip it. Look a little weird. But it could probably make it work. First, darken it. Let's take burn tool and darken it a little bit. We could also, a little bit too much, levels, and just put it on this layer and do. Actually, yeah, it's better. I'm gonna do the lightness. Match that a little bit. Okay, let's merge these. I want to, and now we're gonna kind of blend these two together. So I'm gonna take an eraser, and this time I want it to be not like the sharp edge, the hard edge. I want a soft edge. And opacity, bring it down. And then just kind of blend them. And it doesn't look too bad if you don't look at his feet for too long. You won't notice that it's the same foot. Yeah, I'd say that worked out pretty well. And we can even just hide them kind of a little bit, you know? Kind of fake it. Okay, I'm just trying to see what else. So, we want to blend him in a little bit more. So he needs a shadow. So we have to merge these layers. And then I'm gonna double click it, go to layer style, have a drop shadow, some of the black. So we just want something that's the shape. So that's fine. For us, okay. And then there's a way to separate it. Create layer. Ha! I figured it out! Okay. So you create layer. Okay. So with this, we're going to flip it vertical, and we want to skew it. So that'll make it go to the side like that. There we have a shadow for him. So that's kind of cool. And now we want to go back to his feet here because they're kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. So usually what I do for that is I use a burn tool. And just kind of do that for a little bit. If some of the lights aren't really going down, I'll just make a new layer and I will take a darker color. But we'll make it multiply like that. And I just want it to be a clipping mask over that shape. Slide a little bit. Make some shadows. So. That's a little better. So now he's kind of like in this shadow here. And then I want to highlight some of his teeth back because you're kind of losing it a little bit. So we're going to make another one. This one will use the dodge tool. So like the burn tool makes, oh, actually we don't need a new layer. You know what? We won't use the burn or dodge tool. We'll just use a white and we'll make this screen. Oop. Yeah, we probably want to use overlay. So I'll go in. Just teeth. Make the tool much smaller. Brush. And I just want to kind of paint some light back onto him. And this one I also made a glass. eyes a little bit more. And before I lowered the opacity so you can really see how intense that is, but I'm going to tone it down a little bit. And the cool thing about this, since it's on a separate layer, not working directly on the T-Rex layer, you can just erase. So I can just be like, ah, that was wrong, and then just erase it. Okay, we're almost done here, so I'm happy that this was a lot shorter because I feel like my last one was very long. So I want to, I think it's filter, noise, add noise. So I kind of want to make it look a little bit, kind of like just an old photo. So monochromatic, that's going to be the background. Looks pretty cool. So before, I don't know if, yeah, I think you can see it. It just adds a little bit of texture. And we're gonna add things again. To the T-Rex. Alright. And if you just want to see what it looks like without it, just uncheck preview. Check preview. There it goes, kind of blended in a little bit more. Oh, that looks so cool. So I just want to zoom in just so we can see the difference there. So because I use the same exact settings as the background, we've kind of blended them in together. That looks really cool, I think. So now we just do File. Usually I do Export Save for Web. There's a pop-up. Alright, there it is. The image is very large, so I'm just gonna go down to 2500. 2500. Save. Just give it a second to load that up. Okay, we'll make sure it still says PNG. So I'm gonna say T-Rex Beach. It's folder. All right, so we took this photo and this photo, and we turned it into this. I think it came out pretty good. We got his shadow, we got him a little bit more blended in, we got a nice noise grain on our photo. So there you go. It's a really simple way to kind of, you know, let your imagination go kind of anywhere you want. You can put this dinosaur, I don't know, in your house. You can take a picture of your house, put it like near it, put them in your living room. That's always really fun. We can do that next time. Really any animal, put it anywhere. So that's the end of this tutorial for you guys. Maple's trying to say bye. Be sure to go to thedae.com and check out all of our other online offerings. We have a class on Friday that's going to be drawing in Vector, so a Vector program that's free, and it's web-based, so that's really awesome. It's kind of like Illustrator, but more simplified. We have coding classes this week. We have Blender, Tinkercad, 3D modeling, all kinds of stuff, so be sure to check it out. All right, thanks so much and have a great day.